relationship with Srila Prabhupada. And I honestly can say that I did not have much. I drove him. I was the chauffeur when he was in Hawaii for a little while. So he was very quiet, contemplative, grave, and I never asked him any questions. So my principle was always, let me hear. This was more important. I don't need to talk. I don't need to ask silly questions. I wouldn't even know what to ask. So what I found most profound about Srila Prabhupada is that, we see his body, and a lot of devotees have had interactions with him, and they talk their story, and it's very nice. It's beautiful, and it's a beautiful exchange with the spiritual master. But I always ask, who actually is Srila Prabhupada? What, he has a pure transcendental form because he is personally serving Sri Radhika. So this is who we really want to understand, not necessarily the bodily form, the life history, because he's a transcendental personality that is descended from the spiritual realm and has come to enlighten us and to inform us that we are also of that nature. And so when we sing all of these songs and understand the lineage that Prabhupada is representing, we can appreciate that he is a very, very rare soul. And out of all of Bhaktisiddhanta's powerful disciples, and there were many, Trivikram Maharaj, well, they were disciples of Bhagavan Maharaj, but all of his disciples were very, very powerful and preached very strongly throughout the world, even though, they may have not traveled to the West. So Prabhupada took this line of the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya and gave it to us. So we should really meditate on it very deeply, then how very, very fortunate we are that we've met such a personality. And also Srila Gurudev, we've met and served him, and he also had the same mood of Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Gurudev said that when Prabhupada asked him to put him in samadhi, he knew that Prabhupada, samadhi means to have the similar mood and mind of Sri Radhika. So he knew that Prabhupada was an intimate servant of Srimati Radharani. So that's who I've been trying to understand, who actually Prabhupada is, beyond the physical form that we experienced. So, and also, in order to advance in Krishna consciousness, we must please the spiritual master. There's no going to the spiritual world without pleasing the spiritual master. So this is also every day when you wake up, you say, what am I going to do to serve my Guru Maharaj? Because they're all in the same line, and there's no problem which Guru you might have. If you have Prabhupada, you have Gurudev, you have Puri Maharaj, they're all in the same line. So it's very important to fully surrender. This is the task at hand. I know for myself, just having the experience here at the beautiful Radha Govinda Mandir, that the necessity for surrender is not easy. I can tell you that much. because we resist practically at every moment. And so in order to make spiritual advancement, it's very, very important to try to surrender to your spiritual master. And if you do, you get guidance from within, and also your guru also speaks to you and informs you, no, don't do that, and yes, do that. So that's how we were guided, because we're fools, and we sing the songs about how foolish we are, and what rascals we are, and how arrogant we are, uncooperative we are. So every day we should pray to our spiritual master, and that is my understanding after all of these years. So I pray to Srila Prabhupada to continue to help me, and I know he sent Srila Gurudev to me and to all of us, which we're very, very fortunate. Srila Gurudev gave the final installment, and so we just have to take these instructions to heart. So practice surrender. That is what I can say for all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna 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 Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gopal Charan Vishesha Sankari Prasthita Desatari Namo Bhaktaya Krishna Prabhakaya Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Amrita Seva Namo Brahmane Devaya Gopalanya Taita Chitataya Krishna Govindaya Namo. So I apologize, but I'm completely unqualified to glorify Srila Prabhupada on his appearance day. I can tell a little bit of my history, which hopefully will show the greatness of Srila Prabhupada. And I went to a concert in the Civic Center in Hawaii, where some band was playing. I can't remember who it was. But it was a popular place for young people to go in Hawaii when there was some entertainment. And there were some young people that used to go through the auditorium with incense. And they would pass out incense and ask for donations. And I never knew who those people were. But whatever I had, I would give them. Because the philosophy was you had to share everything. That was the youthful philosophy. Whatever you had to share. So I would always give some contribution. So one day I appeared in Waikiki at the, what is it called? In Waikiki, the tourist area.
Yeah, Kalakaua.
Kalakaua.
International
Marketplace. And again, this young lady approached me and gave a magazine with some incense. And all I had was a quarter. I didn't have any money. So I gave her the quarter. And then a VW van pulled up and she got in and drove off. And I thought, what is this? I they have a quarter, and she drives off in like a brand new VW van. And then, who are these people? Who are they? And where do they come from? How is it they're doing this everywhere? And so I went home, and I one day looked at the BTG, and I saw the picture of Prabhupada. And I was searching, and like everyone, unfortunately, that hasn't met a pure devotee, I was completely immersed in impersonalism. And the I Ching and so many other books, Secret of the Golden Lotus, that was one psychiatrist, philosopher who wrote a book about Buddhist Buddhist meditation, so I was attempting to do that. And I saw the picture of Prabhupada, and all the devotees were surrounding Prabhupada and bowing down. And I looked at that picture and I thought, what are they doing? Don't they know that they're God, just like he is? They're all gods. And why would they do that? So I was completely covered in impersonalism. 100% drowning in impersonalism. So somehow by Krishna's arrangement, I had the opportunity to go to the temple. And I had a car, and I thought, let me go and see if I can help these people. So I moved into the temple, and right away I started book distribution, because the books were about yoga, and I was doing yoga, so I thought, yeah, this is a good thing. I can go out and tell people about yoga. So initially I was very successful, going out and giving books, collecting money, and it became very easy. And then one day I went out, and no matter who I approached, they just walked away from me. They didn't even acknowledge that I was standing there. They just walked by. And I was doing the same thing I've been doing every day, but for some reason the result was just completely opposite. And I was completely bewildered. I was just flabbergasted. I was having so much success, and all of a sudden the success was gone. And I couldn't understand why. So I went back to the temple, and Panchatattva deities were there. And so I was just looking at the deities, and I was thinking, why am I not able to do what I was doing? And I kept looking at the Panchatattva, and just like a ton of bricks, it hit me. Because you think you're God. And you're not. You're not the doer. You're not God. And I just, like, boom, I was, how could I have been so stupid? How could I have been so stupid to think that I'm the Supreme? And so I just started crying and crying and crying, realizing how foolish and stupid I was. And literally, I was just in a hallway banging my head against the wall thinking, you're so dumb, you're so stupid, how can you do this? Mm-hmm. And so one of the devotees came, please, what's wrong? Stop, come do this. So that is the greatness of Srila Prabhupada. I had no understanding, and still I had very little understanding of bhakti or the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Even though so many years now I've been connected to this movement, I still am not very philosophically advanced. But somehow Krishna accepted me because I'd done some service for him. And Srila Prabhupada had mercifully allowed me to engage in his service. So I was listening to a nice person speak at Alachua, and he was speaking about the glories of bhakti. And it was a very nice talk that he was giving about how bhakti produces bhakti, and bhakti is pure, and bhakti in so many ways has so many results which result in bhakti. So Srila Prabhupada's whole purpose for coming to the West was to give bhakti. And bhakti being pure, it can never be contaminated. And so even though somehow I was so foolish, thinking that I was the doer and I'm giving these yoga books out to people because I like yoga, I'm into yoga. Krishna purified that misunderstanding. So that grave covering, actually Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita that impersonalism is the last snare of Maya. When one has completely given up the desire for material enjoyment, and one takes to the philosophy of impersonalism, and one tries to advance on that path. And that's the last snare that Maya has to keep you covered in illusion. So Prabhupada mercifully has written so many books, he's given so much philosophy. Srila Gurudev, we had the privilege of meeting Srila Gurudev in his first program in California when he came to the West. And so many other devotees were there. And Srila Gurudev was saying, I just came to take the dust of Srila Prabhupada. I'm coming to take his dust. And he was speaking with so much humility. And so everyone was crying, tears. The whole room was full of tears. Full of tears to hear this pure message of love that Srila Narayan Maharaj was coming to give. The same thing as Srila Prabhupada. The same message of bhakti. The same message of pure devotion to Krishna. So, Gopavrinda was there, Mullapakriti was there, Shamarani was there, so many of Prabhupada's disciples were there.
Badger? In Badger?
No, this was in Concord, close to Berkeley.
No.
And it was in a house of a devotee who I think had been initiated by Tamon, but he was hosting that program. So, Krishna is so merciful that he sends his bona fide representative again and again and again. And Prabhupada said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur predicted that soon my Senapati Bhakta will come and spread this Krishna consciousness all over the world. And of course we see that Prabhupada did that. That Prabhupada came, and because he wanted to please his spiritual master, he had no other desire. And because his desire was pure, and he was always in Krishna consciousness, he was spreading that message all over the world. And so, Prabhupada also stated that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has stated this. Some people say that I'm the same person. So we don't know the true qualities and unlimited nature of the Atma. Prabhupada said if you knew the power of the Atma, you would have no illusion. The Atma is so powerful. So the Atma can appear in multiple universes simultaneously. The Atma can do so many magnificent things, especially the pure Vaishnavas. The pure Vaishnavas have powers that we can't understand. So much ability to spread Krishna consciousness and spread this bhakti. So on this particular day, I would like to give my heartfelt pranams to all the Vaishnavas and beg that you please forgive me that I have not been able to follow my spiritual master in his instructions faithfully. That I have fallen, and I will probably continue to be fallen. But I'm trying every day. Every day I try to stay connected to my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Jai Shri Krishna.
Say 3 words.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. You made it through without crying. I didn't think I would. This is a book by Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. And when Prabhupada was on the planet, you've all seen that picture where he's sitting very gravely and honoring prasadam with his head down. A professor asked him, "You do not eat?" And Sridhar Maharaj said, "No, we do not eat." "Then what do you do?" "With my own eyes I have seen you eating." "No, we don't eat. We don't eat like you. We don't put solid things into our stomachs like you. We render service to Mahaprasad. What we do is beyond your understanding. We don't eat like you. We have no spirit of consumption. We don't consume anything, but we honor the remnants of the Lord." Such will be the difference between all the activities of the true Vaishnavas and worldly men. Apparently the Vaishnavas seem to do the same things as others are doing. Walking, sleeping, eating, engaging others in activities, earning money, spending, and so many apparently similar things. But the standpoint is totally different. It is connected with the center. They abide by the direction of the central movement, whereas the worldly men are guided by their provincial local interests. The difference is that one is guided by the local and the other is guided by the absolute. And that difference is very, very great. The Vaishnavas are on the other side of selfishness, the other side of renounced life. Between the worldly men and the Vaishnavas is the realm of complete renunciation. One is on one side and the other is on the other side. Okay, hang on. Question by devotee. Many of us did not get to see or speak with our Gurudev much, so how is the spiritual master aware of the activities of his disciple? Also, the spiritual master is sometimes far away from his disciples, so how does he keep connection with them? Guru Maharaj Srila Sridhar. He can gain a general conception from the letters of his disciple, by his words, and also from others. From one, two, or more sources, he may conjecture as to the way the disciple is engaging, as well as his current state of progress. By the activities, expression, and aspiration of the disciple, it is not too difficult to understand his general situation. So many tests exist. Generally, it is said that a man cannot be judged by his dress, but he can be judged by his words. But in devotional life, a person may even be judged by the nature of his dress, as well as, of course, by his words, practices, attachments, etc. If some dirt will accumulate and cause an interruption in the running of a fine machine, such as a computer, the expert will be able to understand the nature of the defect. Similarly, the plane of a person can be known from the words he speaks and the actions he performs. His earnestness and attraction for various particular stages of duty are among the many symptoms by which a person's position can be understood. In general, some may tend towards renunciation, others towards exploitation, and some towards devotion. Amongst the devotional section, some may tend towards devotion to the deity, some to devotion to the Vaishnava, some to devotion to the Guru. A devotee's situation may be assessed according to where his intensity and eagerness lies. There are many signs to indicate the different stages of devotees. Question from a devotee. After the disappearance of the spiritual master, is the connection still maintained? Is the spiritual master still aware of the disciples' activities? Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Dev Maharaj. Our attitude should be to consider that he is seeing everything from above. We cannot have full knowledge of our Gurudev. A devotee, after 15 years of continuous service as a sannyasi, was told by our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, "You have not seen me. You could not see or meet me." By this example, we can understand that it is very difficult for the disciples to know in what plane the Guru is staying. Another question. It is also said, Chakshudana Divoye Janme Prabhu say, that he who gives me transcendental vision is my Lord, birth after birth. So is the connection with the spiritual master actually eternal, birth after birth? Guru Maharaj Srila Sridhar Dev, of course. But we must not identify him with the appearance we experience by our physical senses. The inner identification is necessary, and that vision will increase according to our inner growth. Our vision will increase and transform from material to transcendental. As our vision changes, the way we see Gurudev will change accordingly. A man is generally known first by his external uniform, then by his body, then by his mind, then by his intelligence. As much as our eye will develop to see things rightly, what we see will change its appearance. Acharya Mam Vijayat, the Lord says, it is ultimately I who am the Acharya. It is my function in different stages and forms. At the same time, different Acharyas may simultaneously work together. They have their common ground in their Gurudev, but like so many branches of a tree, they differ in many ways. The ideal is going from gross to subtle. According to the depth of vision of the eye of the viewer, some factors are in common, some different. Okay, so my experiences with Srila Prabhupada were, again, how brave he is, and when he honored Prasadam, he was exactly like that picture. If you see that picture of him with his head down, honoring Prasadam, he didn't speak, he didn't even look. He was very quiet when he honored Prasadam. And we gave him a silk napkin that was hemmed, beautiful, big napkin. He never once touched it. There was never any speck of anything on these napkins. He got up from honoring Prasadam and went into the bathroom and washed his hands. He never touched this napkin. I have it, but I didn't bring it. I'm sorry. Next time. So, of course, I can't sleep at night thinking about all the things I wanted to say. But now, of course, it's blown my mind. I guess I just wanted to say thank you to all the devotees for their teamwork. This Indian party's, well, actually, this Gurudev's desire that we have this center, and Indian party was made the first step, and everybody is helping with their time, their devotion, their Lakshmi, and the altar looks fabulous, and it is not due to me. Everything on that altar was donated. Lolita, Gary, and Indipati, and Hari. Your husband Hari bought all that jewelry. Yeah, Hari. So, and I don't know who donated those peacock feathers, but I think they're amazing. Let's see. So I wanted to thank everybody, and please accept my humble obeisances. There was a steep learning curve moving into the temple here, and a lot of ruffled feelings and things went on. And I apologize. I was basically struggling to fit in and to surrender, like you mentioned, Goro, trying to surrender. It's tough. Any other Prabhupada experiences? Oh, well, we were reading, and Gurudev said that in the spiritual world, there's omens, and the gopis are taught to read these omens. It can be a cloud with gentle lightning. It can be a rainbow. So when I meditate on Srila Prabhupada, he was born in 1896, the same year that one of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books was introduced into the library at McGill University in Canada. I don't remember the name of the book, if anybody does. And to me, that's not a coincidence. The year he was born, the first book went to the West. And then he praises his father. He said his father, Prabhupada praises his father, says his father was a pure devotee, and gave him Shri Vigraha to worship in his youth, gave him a facility to hold festivals for the neighborhood kids. He may even had a mini Rath Yatra cart. They passed out sweets. And he said he taught him the basis of the philosophy that he later learned from his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And the first thing that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told Srila Prabhupada is that you will go to preach in the West. And first saw him, and he also said that he was going to do it all. And I think there was one other thing that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, that he could tell that Srila Prabhupada loved to hear. And then Srila Prabhupada also commented once that my only qualification was that I am not lazy. And his routine was so spot on. We felt like we could we'd know the time on what he was doing. And it would be, like what I read in here, it would look material, that, oh, he's taking such nice care of his body. But no, I read that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that pure devotee automatically takes care of his material necessities without even thinking about it. So it's a routine that he doesn't even have to think about in order to continue his preaching. And I was told that Prabhupada carried a little note in his wallet that said, how can I give them Krishna consciousness? Something, I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words. But he carried this little statement in his wallet, how can I give them Krishna consciousness? So everything else, his morning walks at 6 a.m., his and at 7:30 he greet the deities. Then there would be class, and every morning there would be class with a full Sanskrit sloka, and sometimes he would stop the class and tell the devotees, because in the original temples, his vyasa was on this side of the deities, and the devotees would turn their backs to the deities. And Prabhupada would stop the class and say, no, don't turn your back to the class, to the deities. And I've been in class where he's had to do it 3 times because the devotees weren't following what he was saying. I don't know what they were doing. Anyway, it was very practical and commonsensical and down to earth, and what he stressed was, do the work. And so that's why I want to apologize. Some Prabhupada disciples do not have the full repertoire in their training for the intense spiritual devotional practices on the altar, or even in the leading of festivals. We were not trained up like that. We were basically building the Panchatattva deities that Gajahanta talked about. They were made out of paper mache, right?
Yeah.
So the devotees in that temple, which was you, Gaurav, too, right? They made the paper mache devotees, deities of the Panchatattva in a blender, and they broke 8 blenders making these deities. And they make the paper mache, yeah. And then Govinda built the altar. I mean, it was just from the ground up. And when he was initiated, he has his letter of initiation from Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada calls him my son. There were no Tulsi Mala, no Japa Mala. In 1970, he had to string his own mala with Job's tears, a type of little bead. I don't know how to explain it. Look it up. Google Docs. Job's tears, they had to string their own japa mala. And so the level of exactness as to how to be a perfect devotee was not emphasized in our day. Our emphasis was book distribution, prasadam distribution. Govinda would cook all morning, then drive, with help, of course, from the other temple residents, and drive all the way around the side of the island to set up the program and have kirtan and distribute prasadam drive all the way back. And the one thing that shocked me when I moved into the temple, there was no furniture. I think there was 1 table. So there was no furniture, and there was very strict rules. No one went on the altar, no one went in the kitchen. It was so sacred, you were not allowed in there. The temple room for Mongol Arti was packed. You couldn't even dance. You would hit somebody. And the strictness was more in personal self-control. and not so much in rules and regulations. Let's see. Okay, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I guess I've gone on too long. Other people want to speak. I'll continue later. Hare Krishna. Please have knowledge.
What's that? Yeah.
I can't watch what you do usually.
Oh. You want to speak? Prabhupada? Yeah? You want to translate for her? No?
She can speak English.
Oh, okay. Good.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Vimata Bhakti Tatsum Namaste Sarvati Gauravani Prachani Vishesha Shimari Paschitari Shatani Vanshakal Patariyasha Kripasindhu Patitanam Pranam Vaishnavi Namo. In this glorious day, I will try to offer a homage to my spiritual master, but I'm so unqualified. I don't have words to describe his glories. So I'm praying to the whole parampara to give me some intelligence so I can say something. Narottam Das Thakur, in his prayers to the spiritual master, have prayed, the lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which you can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. So we can understand by this statement that there is no only other way to approach Krishna. Only by the grace of the spiritual master we can approach Krishna. Of course, we get the opportunity to meet the spiritual master by the grace of Krishna, because Krishna loves us and he wants to be situated in our constitutional position, that is to serve him. We are all servants of Krishna, like Mukunda Prabhu was saying yesterday. So, but we have forgotten. In this material world, we have been going life after life, suffering so much struggle, pain, forgiveness, and frustration. And it's only by the grace of Krishna that he manifests as the spiritual master. We can understand that the spiritual master is just one that has manifested in different forms. But this manifestation is the manifestation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When this spiritual master sends, he has all the qualities that Lord Chaitanya has. So he's so merciful, so compassionate, so willing to deliver the jiva from this suffering. He's completely absorbed in Krishna Prema, but still, because his Prema is so intense, he wants to share that. So Srila Prabhupada came in that mood that I want to give mercy, I want to give this knowledge toward these fallen souls that are suffering so much. In that way, he descended and just fulfilling the desire of his spiritual master, he preached all over the world and gave us the opportunity to know the transcendental knowledge and to develop pure love for Krishna. That is his compassion, that is his love, that is his mercy, that is his special attitude towards all the living entities, that even when we have been falling many, many times, He doesn't reject us. Yes, you, Srila Prabhupada, are so merciful. Even I have fallen so many times. You always try to take me back and give me whatever I need to start trying again. So in this struggle for existence, the only way is to serve the lotus feet of the spiritual master. When Krishna is angry, the spiritual master can give mercy. But when the spiritual master is angry and unsatisfied with us, Krishna won't give us mercy. Because the spiritual master is the personification of the mercy of Krishna. His most beloved from Lord Krishna. And Krishna can do whatever he wants just to satisfy his pure devotee. Krishna is the heart of the pure devotee, and the pure devotee is the heart of Krishna. So there is that intense relationship. He's very, very dear to Lord Krishna. So our duty is to just try to please glorify our spiritual master, to serve him by your words, prema static emanate. Yeah. It's that knowledge that comes from Srila Prabhupada's mouth that have given us life, that have given us knowledge, so we can understand that we're not this body, that we are spirit souls, that we are supposed to be engaged in the Lord's devotional service, become in that way capable of perform bhajan and little by little to get purified and approach Sri Krishna. That's why we have to always pray, always pray to our spiritual master and into the whole parampara to give us that chance, to give us that mercy so we can follow their instructions and then we can understand. Because just by our own endeavor, what can we achieve? We are worthless. We cannot achieve anything by speculating or by reading books. We have to approach the real sadhu who can tell us what is the real truth, because he had seen Krishna. He had understood the scriptures by the mercy of Krishna. So he is the only one that can give you that knowledge, that love, and the opportunity to reach the supreme goal. In this day, O my spiritual master, O my dear Srila Prabhupada, I pray to you to take away all my anarthas, all my pride, all my enviousness. Let me become as humble as a blade of grass. Let me be more tolerant than a tree. May I get free from all expectation of honor and adoration, and may be able to always offer respect to other people, to accept them as they are, and to try to give them my love, the same love that you have given us. As Jesus Christ says, love each other as I have loved you. That's the message of a pure Vaishnava. So my Lord, please, please, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sonia, you didn't say anything about any of your experiences or anything about the Srila Prabhupada. Say something.
When I was in Los Angeles, and I used to come to the Sunday feast, and there was one devotee in place when they were selling incense and perfumes and books that told me, Srila Prabhupada is coming, Srila Prabhupada is coming. And I said, who is Srila Prabhupada? He has to be such a wonderful person, because when I read his books, all my misconceptions went away. Why? Because he taught me about karma, about reincarnation, and that was the answer to all my questions, because I had read the Bible, but nobody told me what was the reason why a rich man was, even he was simple, was having material pleasure, and some people that were pious were very poor. And then I could understand everything by the first book that I read, and it was given by my brother. You may know him. He's initiated by Guru Maharaj. So I kept going to the temple, and Srila Prabhupada for some reason didn't come because he was sick, but it came the day, like a month, 2 months later, that Srila Prabhupada came. And then Rukmini was like 1 year old, and I was working for this lady that was a rich person, and I told her about it, and she said, I'm going to take you to the temple because I didn't have a car. So she took me to the temple the day Srila Prabhupada had his first darshan, and it was packed. So many people. So I stand by the door and I look at Srila Prabhupada. He didn't look at me the way we see when we look physically, but internally, he looked entered inside my soul, and I felt that ray of hope and blissfulness. It was so amazing how I felt like I was feeling some heaviness because of all of my sinful activities. But at that moment, I felt so light that it had erased all my sinful activities, and he had let me take shelter at his lotus feet. It was wonderful. It was an experience that I've never had before. So we can see how the spiritual master is so merciful. Even I was falling and engaged in sense gratification, he immediately gave me mercy and showered me in the bliss of his divine love. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Very sweet, thank you.
What time does the party start?
Well, the offering just went on, so it'll be another half hour.
Don't worry.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Harikatha Priyamare Shishima Bhaktivedanta Narayanati Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasharane Nirvishesha Srivani Pastachara Vishatane Om Gyana Chamanandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Tanjana Tasma Shri Guru. So, on this glorious day, we try to glorify our predecessor acharyas, and like Gurudev said in a previous lecture, that it's like trying to glorify such a great soul is like trying to reach the top of the Himalayas, but also understanding what's beneath the Himalayas. So much depth there. So I will attempt to do the best I can, considering my insignificant position in this world. So Srila Prabhupada, I like Mataji here. She, when Prabhupada entered the room in Detroit, I met him in 1975. He came in the temple room. Thank you. He came in the temple room, and it was totally packed, and I was just like blown away, like, who is this person? It seemed so surreal, like a dream. His effulgence was so magnanimous, and so regal, almost like a lion coming in, like a real lion. And I'll just never forget seeing that, witnessing that, being so blessed to witness such a great personality. So after that incident, I started reading. It's hard to say things because I've been speaking on this day for 22 years here at this temple, so you probably heard the same story over and over. So anyways, I've had a lot of, I was reading this book, what's it called in your body? Rag Varg? Yeah, Rag Varg.
Rag Vartama.
Rag Varg.
Chandrika.
Rag Vartma Chandrika. And in the original edition, because for some reason they took it out in the second edition, and I was like really upset because in that, and I don't know why they took it out, but it said that when Gurudev was saying in a lecture that when the disciple has a relationship with the spiritual master in the spiritual world, the relationship is very, very close, like he called it a kinkari, very like a best friend. And it's not like here in the material world where we're so low and the spiritual master is so high, and you have this great awe and veneration. But in the spiritual world, the relationship is so sweet, and it's like the friend that you always wanted. And the reason I bring this up is because in the few dreams that I've had of Srila Prabhupada, each time I see him in my dream and interact with him, he always treats me like equal, and I'm like so embarrassed because I'm so fallen and he's so great, but yet he's so merciful and so kind that he always treats me like a friend, and he always like treats me like a daughter, just very concerned and very sweet and very affectionate, and almost kind of like when they're like in some of the dreams there were like thousands of devotees around, but he would just focus just on me and how are you, and like even hold my hand. And one time I was shocked because he held my hand in front of thousands of devotees, and I was like, whoa, it's like I don't know if I should be doing this. So I feel that when you catch these moods in his books of what it's like in the spiritual world, that's the reward or the satisfaction that you get by pursuing this path of pure bhakti, because the feelings of love and affection are so amazing, they're so sweet. So I'm just going to read this book, Our Friend Srila Prabhupada, A Friend to All. And again, here she says a friend. It's real short. This is by a devotee named, I always like this story. I'm sure you all heard this story before, but it's just so sweet, I gotta say it again. His name is Shriman Kishanlal Sharma Pandita. And these are all the stories. This is a must read before you leave this world. You have to read this book because it's all the relationships that Prabhupada had before he came to the West.
What's it called?
Srila Prabhupada, A Friend to All by Mula Prakriti. She spoke to so many different of his contemporaries before he had left this world, and saved it, and then she printed it after he left, way after he left. So he's saying, Prabhupada never used to talk very much. He was always studying his books. It seemed to me that he stayed in his room and he did not talk to people except in the evenings on his veranda. He would close his doors and do his bhajan in his room. We always heard from the neighbors that he was chanting very much and was always studying and writing manuscripts. I remember that his room at that time was very old and in disrepair. The bricks in the walls were crumbling in many places. There was no stone floor, only dirt. Even there were some weeds in the floor. The land all around the Radha Damodar Mandir was like a jungle then. It was not built up with so many rooms and paths as it is today. One time when I came to deliver milk, he used to deliver, his father would have him deliver milk to him regularly. I arrived at his doorway and stood there with a container, but he was chanting Harinam very deeply and didn't hear me. So I was waiting there for some time because I did not want to interrupt his devotion. I kept peeking inside his door, which was partly open, and I noticed that there were many tears in his eyes and on his face. I kept waiting there, but still he didn't look up to see me for a long time. As I watched, I noticed that on the dirt floor there were some bugs. Then I saw a scorpion crawling on the ground. It was coming close to his feet, Srila Prabhupada, but he didn't notice. I watched it come closer and closer and closer. I made little noises to catch his attention, but he was still chanting and not aware of outside things. Finally, after I had anxiously awaited for what seemed like quite some time, I called out to him, "Oh Prabhu, there is a scorpion near you." He slowly opened his eyes, which were wet with tears. When he looked at me, his glance was so deep with feeling and mercy. He just looked at me and then down at the scorpion. I asked him if I could sweep it from the room. In gentle, grave voice, he answered, No, please don't worry about it. Don't disturb. He is also a devotee." So that's it. And on this day, I beg Srila Prabhupada also to please erase all my anarthas and become also a pure devotee as he would want me to be, and help me achieve the highest goal and follow in his footsteps of Radha Dasyam. As I read a lecture by Srila Gurudev this morning, a lecture, and he said that, like Gaur was saying, that Gurudev came here to emphasize that Srila Prabhupada was in the mood of Madhurya Ras, that he was a servant, a very, very intimate service of Srimati Radharani and the Kunjas of Vrindavan. And he said we shouldn't think of him as a cowherd boy, that this was not his mood. So I beg over and over, repeatedly, unlimitedly, that he please bestow his mercy upon me and forgive me of all my offenses to all the devotees, and help me become pure-hearted and with good intention to serve eternally in the spiritual realm. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anybody?
There must be someone singing to me.
Om Gyanatamidandasya Garanjanasya Chakshuramitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guruvaram Shri Rupa Nugapavanam Prajarasarsikam cha narayanam cha pratanam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Namah Prasthaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhakti Ramcha Kripamuti Narayan Bhakti Siddhanta Shishaya Bhakti Vedanta Namane Shanaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Guru Namah. Thank you everyone for coming. This is a very special celebration and occasion for us. I was thinking when I heard so many people speak, I was thinking the verse, the kirtan we sang, Yan Kali Rupa, that Mahaprabhu did not send Rupa Goswami here, where would we all be? In our case, my case especially, if Prabhupada did not come to the West, if he did not come to New York, I would probably be at this point in my life not here. Because he actually pulled so many of us out of so much danger in our youth and brought us to service to Mahaprabhu. So I'm very, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for his love and kindness on all of us. Taught us how to serve and understand what is the great mercy of Mahaprabhu to give us a chance to serve him and also come to the stage of Radha Dasha. It says that Chaitanya Charitamrita Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Shirara Tidam Nijigupta Vitam Supremanamrita Achudara Paramam Yogi Tatara Gaura Krishnabdane Vistamaham Panje. Mahaprabhu came and took the most fallen people and introduced us to his own sweet holy name, which is full of so many beautiful pastimes, so many beautiful bhavas are there. And Prabhupada, on his order, through his Guru Parampara, came here with that message to help us all. And also, by Prabhupada translating Chaitanya Charitamrita, he gave us the real essence of Gauravani. What is Mahaprabhu's message and why he came here? One of the reasons he came here was he had his own personal reasons, but he also came to give opportunity to serve Srimati Radhika. Srila Sri Maharaj would say in one of his books called Follow the Angels that in all the spiritual camps in the spiritual world, there's only one section that they come and bring new recruits, and that is those who come in the line of Radha Dasha. They can recruit. And the other camps, they don't necessarily do it so much. And we're very, very fortunate to, when Prabhupada first came, he said, if you really knew what I came to give, they would try to kill me. He said like that. But for us, it's been a wonderful journey from the basketball courts to now to Vrindavan to hear all these, wonderful moods of Srimati Radhika. Krishna is with her, and she's hearing the words that Madhusudana has now gone. I've chased him away, and in her powerful prema that she has, she feels separation from Krishna, even though she's in Krishna's lap. And so for these are some of the reasons why Mahaprabhu came to taste this and understand this mood of Srimati Radhika. The very beginning, all we know about Krishna consciousness is about the Srimad books, and every Sunday you can get sweet rice, pakoras, and halava, and that will maintain your life until next Sunday. So, and so even the Sunday feast was a wonderful way for us to, get together and have camaraderie and friendship, but also to know that even the Mahaprasada, this Adara that came from, it touched the lotus lips of Krishna, and we're having the opportunity to taste this thing. I remember when I was very young, my mother came to the temple to bring me home on Sunday feast. I didn't argue with her. I said, Mom, you want to take me home? I said, why? She said, no, these people are crazy. You should not be here. And I said, okay, Mom, I'll go with you, but before we go, let's have dinner. We're going to have the feast in about 10 minutes. So she said, okay. She took prasad, it was halava, sweet rice, bear claws, and all these.
A what?
These are a pastry that they made. We had a bakery in the temple called Bear Claw.
Oh, wow.
And it was stuffed with like a sour cream kind of thing. My mom ate all that and cheesecake, and then she said, this place is so nice, you can stay. It was such a big turnaround from, I was so dreary that all my mother's taking me home. But when she took the prashadam, she lit up and said, you can stay here. And from that time, every Sunday she would call me and say, do they have the feast today? Yes. Are you going to bring me something? Yes. And then when I moved out of the temple and became a family member, child, Grahasta, she would call me every Sunday. Are you going to the temple? Yes, Mom. Can you bring me something? Yes. So that happened for over 30 years.
Wow.
And when I couldn't go to bring it to her, my wife's girlfriend would go to the temple and bring it to my mother, or Bhumi Pati would go to the temple and bring my mother prashad.
Hare Krishna.
So,
Hare Krishna.
when I
That's
think
real love.
all those crazy things that happened in my life, but when I remember how Prabhupada gave us an opportunity to take Krishna prashad, and it transformed so many people's lives. And a lot of things happened in my life, but when I look back, I just think that Amazing Grace of Prabhupada was the background, the steering thing that helped me go through so many problems, so many dangers. He was always there guiding us, and very appreciative that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta sent him here to help us. And they had already arranged it. Mahaprabhu arranged it a long time ago. The whole Guru Parampara knew, okay, I'm going to send this book to McGill University. Prabhupada's going to appear. This is the great omen that we want him to take the mission to come to the West and help the most fallen people of society. Bhaktisiddhanta, when he met him, he knew, yes, this is that person. Everyone knew. And so out of all the austerities that he had to go through on the Jaladuta, he had a few heart attacks. And when he got here, they stole so many things from his typewriter, his book, translation of Bhagavad Gita. And he always persevered. And he did all that just for us. And I remember being in LA maybe 2 or 3 years ago, someone was making a comment that, I'm always trying to chant the holy name and meditate on Srila Prabhupada. And one other Prabhupada disciple said, that's bogus. It's completely bogus. What you're saying is bogus. So then I asked him in the class, he was giving the Bible talk, so I raised my hand. And I said, do you have any appreciation for what Prabhupada did to come to the West to give us this message? And he said, yes, of course. And I said, that person is expressing how he feels also. So you can't judge a person because they don't feel the exact same thing you do, but they still feel and express their appreciation for what Prabhupada came to give us and how he changed all of our lives. From being a teenage alcoholic to now living in a temple, it's an amazing turnaround in my life. To see my mother call me every Sunday and ask for prashadam is an amazing thing. And I know so many other devotees that were in the hospital dying, and they would call us and say, bring me some prashadam from Harikatha. And that was the last thing they had before they left. So this is what we're going through, what we've experienced, and what great mercy has come to us now is unfathomable. No one can we couldn't have planned the great mercy that came to us. When we hear the story of the Veda Kirtan pastimes, Mahaprabhu was dancing in Jagannath Puri, and he danced inside 7 Kirtan parties simultaneously, and only those in each Kirtan party, they only saw him. And a few people were able to see, like King Pratparuja, Sri Damodar, Roy Ramananda. They saw that Mahaprabhu is in all the Kirtans dancing at the same time. When King Pratparuja saw that, he said, Dika Chaitanya Kipa Mahabala, just see how great is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'm saying the same thing. Just see how great is the mercy of our Srila Prabhupada. After he left, even before he left, he made an arrangement for us to continue to be trained. He told his disciples, if you have any questions or any misunderstandings about philosophy, you should go and hear from my god brother, my Shiksha Guru, Bhakti Rakshak Srila Goswami. And then on his dying bed, he asked Srila Gurudev, you please help my disciples. I have not sufficiently trained them. And so, how great is that mercy that after Prabhupada left, we were all dying and crying in our own little holes, chanting our rounds and crying, and so many things were falling apart. And Prabhupada had already asked Srila Gurudev to come here to help us and give us strength. So Prabhupada has been the most kindest and the most loving and the most merciful person in our lives. And every day when we wake up, we should remember that. We should never forget the great mercy that's come to all of us. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Back it up.
A little bit, yeah. So on that last note that you just mentioned in regard to how when Srila Prabhupada was on his last days and he was speaking with Srila Gurudev, and he mentioned to him that he wanted him to continue to help his disciples to progress in spiritual life. That was very profound. With me, because even though I grew up in the movement from birth, there were very few times when I could remember, basically times that I remember that were favorable, or times that I wanted to remember, until Srila Gurudev came into my life. And when he did that, that was really the first time that I felt that I had a connection with Krishna consciousness, like in a way which it actually awoken me, like in such a way that I personally felt that connection. And that was by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, because he was the one who went out of his way to encourage Srila Gurudev to come and help all of us. So it's just like continuing on the what all the other Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis have been saying. It's just so merciful that Srila Prabhupada had so much mercy on all of us that he just wanted to help us and give us Krishna consciousness as it is, and help us to develop our eternal relationship with Srimati Radharani and Krishna in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan. There were a few things that I do remember that were memorable in my spiritual life. One was when, my father would take me to Mangalartik and he would put me on his shoulders. So that was, and then, of course, Rath Yatra in Los Angeles, and then later in Hawaii and other places. A few things, but it wasn't really came to light until Srila Gurudev And that was by the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada. One thing I remember my father telling me that, because the thing is, he didn't speak so much, he didn't tell me so much about Prabhupada until even after I started asking him about different things. He would only tell me like one pastime at a time. He wouldn't tell me too much. So one thing I remember mentioned, one of the first things was the time when he was already the temple president in Costa Rica. Srila Prabhupada sent him there to go to Costa Rica. And so he wanted, of course, by the help of my mother and also Sylvia, they had a very successful temple in Costa Rica. And many Vaishnavas and devotees were made. There was so much preaching that was going on. One of the pastimes he told me was that, so Prabhupada had him come. He asked my father to come to Dallas to help raise money for the Gurukul. So my father went to Dallas, and it just so happened that also Srila Prabhupada was going to be there. That was the same time when they had the pastime of the devotees getting this idea that they were going to, because every day when Srila Prabhupada would wake up in the morning, he would go, because his headquarters walk, a distance to get to the temple, and then he would always be going. There was this one tree, like in the middle of if you can imagine, like, he's on one side and the temple's here, and then like in the middle, and then there was this big tree. And he would always, all the devotees would have to go past this tree. So the devotees got this idea that that tree was in the way and that they were going to cut down the tree. And when Srila Prabhupada found out that the devotees cut the tree, he was furious. I mean, he was really angry. And he started chastising the devotees and, asking them, whose idea was it to cut this tree? And he was explaining how, we have to have compassion to all the living entities. And he said there's a soul inside even the tree, he's explaining how we shouldn't even kill the ant, we shouldn't, any like that. And he was very upset. And they were like trying to figure out how to like explain to Prabhupada. They were like, we thought that he didn't want to hear any of that. And my father was there when that happened. And the lesson learned there was that we have to have compassion for everyone in this world. Try to be tolerant and but basically like not to even want to kill the ant. Of course, you see that if there's some bug in the house or something, and just flush it down the toilet or something like that, or we may kill it. So that was one of the first that had like an impact on me. And then one other time in Los Angeles, my mother was in charge of the Tulsi Devis, where Prabhupada would give all his lectures and his, Prabhupada's
Tulsi garden.
the Tulsi garden. And there was a period of time when my mother was in charge of the Tulsis there. And it just so happened that one day when she was there, Prabhupada came. And it was only a few people and my mother, and he saw her and he asked her what her service was. And she told him that she was taking care of Tulsi Devi in your garden. And he said, like, continue that service. And actually, my mother revealed to me later, she didn't even tell me this until many, many years later, until I was already like in my 20s. She had never told me this, that she had, after that experience for Srila Prabhupada telling her to continue that service, she actually, Tulsi Devi appeared to her in the form, like in her actual form, and she had like darshan of Tulsi Devi. Yeah. I was already like maybe 24 or something like that by the time she finally told me that. So it wasn't something that she would even tell anyone, I mean even me, until I was much older. And this is the first time I was actually told it.
Jai.
Yeah.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Ajnanatimaraندस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutre Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarine. So today is a very auspicious day, the day after Krishna appears and his devotee appears. That is Krishna's birthday gift, because in Vedic culture, when it is your birthday, you give gifts, you don't receive gifts. So everyone, when they have their birthday, they make sweet rice and distribute it to all the devotees, their friends and family. So Sri Krishna has distributed some wonderful gifts to us, that is, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because yasya prasada bhagavat prasado yasya prasada nagati kutu. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, one cannot obtain the mercy of Krishna. And by the mercy of Krishna, one obtains the spiritual master. And then, by the mercy of that spiritual master, one obtains Krishna. So Krishna has made perfect arrangement for all of us to be delivered eventually. So who can actually glorify Srila Prabhupada? So one who is actually surrendered to Srila Prabhupada, one who is actually surrendered to a bona fide guru and has engaged his mind, his words, his intelligence, and his senses in the service of that spiritual master. So I certainly can't claim to have that qualification. I'm only dabbling in devotional service, so I really don't have any real substance to glorify Srila Prabhupada, any realization, but I see what he has done in this world, how he has started a movement, and he has inspired thousands and thousands of souls to give up their ways and adopt a spiritual life. So there are many levels of devotees, of course, in any institution, in any movement, any spiritual movement. There have been many. Jesus Christ started a movement which is now, the largest religion in the world, from that small beginning of 12 disciples. So maybe one day, we hope, we expect from the predictions of our acharyas that one day the whole world will know the name of Krishna, and the chanting of the holy name will be a common affair in human society. We won't have to hide in the shadows, and everybody will be wearing dhoti and tilak. So we expect that day will happen, but maybe not in our lifetime. So how sometimes we think, oh, if I was there with Jesus, I would have been a real disciple. And we think about the disciples of Jesus. Oh, why did they do that? Why did they make a mistake? Why did they betray Jesus? Why they did that? Because if I was there, I would have done it properly. So that is called hindsight. We look back, I would have done this if I had been there. Because we know the glory of Jesus, right? Because the whole world is full of Christians. So Jesus must have been something very special. So now there's not so many Hare Krishna devotees in the world. Outside of India, it's not so common. And those who are outside of India are all coming by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. But it doesn't feel like sometimes that we're having much of an impact on society. We are huddled here in our temple, and there's another temple over there. But if you go out outside of the Alachua, you won't see many devotees. To any other city, what to speak of some other countries like North Korea or Iran or China.
We're spoiled.
So,
We're spoiled here.
yeah, so we don't see that this Hare Krishna movement is having much of an impact on society, and maybe we become discouraged. What's the use? Okay, I'll just do my little chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But we don't expect much to happen. We try to preach a little bit, but we don't seem to be making many devotees. Since we've opened this temple, how many devotees have we made? Not very many. And Prabhupada was making hundreds every single day. Devotees were going out and just plucking people off the street and throwing them into their Sankirtan van and bringing them back to the temple. And so what happened to that? It's not happening anymore. Why is that? Well, Srila Prabhupada is not here to inspire everybody. That was Srila Prabhupada's Shakti. His Shakti was flowing to his disciples, and they were doing amazing things. They were like kids lifting up trees and mountains by his power. And they had so much faith that, okay, I'm nobody, but you please come and see my spiritual master, how amazing he is. And then they came and they saw Prabhupada, they would also surrender because they would see Prabhupada. So now we think, oh, well, if I meet someone, who am I going to tell them? I'm not a devotee, so, don't look at me. But, who are you going to take them to? So, of course, the Vaishnavas are there everywhere, but the magnanimity and the power that Srila Prabhupada expressed, that is from Nityananda Prabhu. We know that all Guru Chakra is manifestation of Nityananda Prabhu. But Srila Prabhupada expressed it to such an unimaginable degree that from nothing, coming to the West with a bag of chipped rice and a few dollars and a trunk of books that nobody knew anything of the value of those books. And from that, nothing. He started this movement, and here we are today, how many 50-something years later, so many of us gathered here to glorify Srila Prabhupada. Who can imagine such a thing? So I try to think that one day this Hare Krishna movement will become prominent in society, and in thousands of years' time, people were thinking, oh, if only I could have been there, I could have done something to propagate this movement. Just like if you'd have done something for Jesus' movement at the beginning, so many thousands of years ago, your impact would have been magnified so much. You make one devotee. Prabhupada went to Russia and made one devotee. Now the whole thousands of Russian devotees. So that is the power. That is called exponential power. For 1 makes 2, and 2 makes 4, and 4 makes 8, and so on. And after some time, you have millions. So we are Jesus said to his disciples, you are the salt of the earth, right? You are the salt of the earth. And if the salt will lose its flavor, then what's going to happen? So like that, the devotees are the salt of the earth. Now the Christianity has lost its way. Mostly it's some kind of materialistic religion, or you can make money and be happy in this world. No consideration that we are the eternal servants of God in our whole life. Just I was passing this church on the way to my house, and it was like, it's so quiet, there's nothing going on there, but there's a sign, Sunday service. Like that's all they do, 1 hour on Sunday. That's their spiritual life. But we know that spiritual life is 24 hours a day, right? From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. That if you are not remembering God, that means you are not doing spiritual life. So we heard all these things from Srila Prabhupada, and we know all these things, but still because of these deep impressions from our past lives, it is very difficult for us to follow. I'm speaking for myself, of course, don't mind. So in the future, whatever we are doing now will be magnified so much in the future. If we meet one person and inspire them, then they can meet some more people, and so on and so forth. And after some time, the whole world can become Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada wanted that. But it is not automatic that I can sit back and because Krishna wants it, because Gurudev wants it, because Prabhupada wants it, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants it, therefore it's going to happen. So let me just turn on my TV and watch it happen. Because the devotees, they don't think they are the doer, but that doesn't mean they don't do anything. So the devotee takes responsibility. He thinks that, no, I must do something to make it happen. I'm not waiting for it to happen. But he feels that is his responsibility. And that is devotional service. Otherwise, that is only devotional entertainment. That I am watching to see what's happening out there. Okay, the Krishna conscious movement may spread or may not, but I'm okay because I have my situation. If it spreads, that's good. If it doesn't, I'm here, I'm happy, I have my things going on. I have my own house or my own everything. So that I'm trying to cultivate this mood that I am responsible for the spreading of this Krishna conscious movement. That is not anybody else's responsible. I am responsible. So in some way, I have to, according to my ability, my capacity, my limited intelligence, and my physical abilities, if I'm not engaging those to some extent in the propagation of this movement, then how I expect to get the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and my Gurudev and the Guru Parampara? Because that's what they did. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he's God himself, that he came and he showed this is how you do devotional service, and he's preaching and he's practicing. He's practicing sannyas. He's only eating very simple foods and taking bath 3 times a day. And he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what can I say? We also helpless, because we have so many impressions from previous lives. And we become very inspired when we are in the association of devotees. We become fired up, we do the kirtan, we do the worship, we speak, and we glorify. And then after it's all over, the whole weight of the material world comes back on us. Oh, I have my job, I have my family, I have this and that. And the festival becomes like a memory. Oh, that was some nice festival. But now the real life begins. I have my bills to pay. So that is just like you can see the power of Maya, how she's so she covers us to think that the spiritual life is the part-time activity, but my real life is my work and my business and my family. That's my full-time activity. Devotional is a part-time activity. So to come to that point where we actually feel that these other things are just a distraction from the spiritual life. And one day I want to give all those things up and engage my 24/7 in hearing, chanting, and remembering the sweet pastimes of Krishna, and to my ability, to the extent that I am able, to spread this knowledge to the innocent, not to the envious, but to the innocent who are willing to hear something. So, as you all know, I'm only here for a few more weeks, and I have to go back to China. So, if you want a challenge in your devotional life, I invite you to come to China, because you cannot just walk outside and start chanting with your kartals and dancing. No, it won't last very long. So So there is, you have the unlimited opportunity here. It's so easy. You can just walk outside with your tilak on in the store and somebody say, oh, who are you? Why you have like this? And then you get an opportunity to preach. In some countries, if you go into the store with the tilak and the dhoti, you will end up in the prison. So, you know, that is the difference between America. One devotee, I was having a little argument with him about the flat earth the other day. That's another subject. So he was telling me about the Illuminati and the, you know, the powers that be that are controlling everything. Okay, they may be controlling everything, but you've got a lot more freedom here to do whatever you want than you have in some other countries. So count your blessings and don't become complacent. You know, oh, I have my home, I have my deal, everything is kosher. You know, everything is very nice. I have everything set up for my own, you know, pleasure. Meanwhile, there are millions and billions of conditioned souls are out there just in a miserable life, working 1, 2, 3 jobs just to pay the bills, and they don't know anything how to maintain their health, how to eat properly, how to have a regulated life, how to have any juice in their life. So they only turn on the TV for some pain relief and distraction from the misery of their life, taking drugs and drinking and smoking, and they have nothing. They're just suffering. We have so much, and we are like floating in the waves of nectar, and they are out there just miserable. So, like Prabhu was saying, you know, we have to be compassionate. That is not only to the cockroaches in our house, but to the human beings also outside our house. So, I'm preaching to myself because I'm also very shy. If I go outside, I don't want to talk to anybody, just go and get my groceries and get out of there. But how they will become Krishna conscious if we don't give it to them? It doesn't fall from the sky. Prabhupada didn't just throw the books, you know, across the ocean and they land in people's houses. He went there and he had to go through so many hardships, you know. And he was, in the beginning, Prabhupada was doing everything. He was single-handedly giving the class and doing the cooking and serving the prasad and then cleaning all the pots afterwards. Now this is the how you say, what we are aspired to become. Becoming a servant of Srila Prabhupada is not just watching Srila Prabhupada doing what he does. We have to learn how to become like Srila Prabhupada, because you can't go back to the spiritual world if you're just an ordinary bum. You can't. We have to become the pure devotee, because the spiritual world is only full of pure devotees. So unless you become a pure devotee, you're not going to go there. And we can't just, well, I'll just wait for the mercy, you know, of my Guru and Prabhupada, and I'm fallen, I can't do anything. It's not enough.
Can you clarify that? Because on one hand, you have like the mercy of the pure devotee and how he's giving it in such a way that it's in such a loving way that we're so inspired by his love and affection that he's giving us, and therefore we have the desire to want to go out and preach and do all these things. And because on one hand, we all have free will, just like Mukunda Prabhu said very clearly yesterday in the class, and we all have our own individual nature. Because I was pressing him on that point also, and he was saying, yes, I do love my wife, and I still have my but first, you know, Krishna is always first. Yeah. So then how to do it in such a way that inspires us to want to go out and preach, but not in this like, I'm not trying to criticize in any way you or anything like that. I don't mean to if it sounds like I am, but I'm just saying, like, it can't be a totalitarian kind of like, you have to inspire people.
Yeah.
Because we're not living in Afghanistan or, you know, we're living here.
Yeah. So that is the actual, only the prerogative of the person who has something that they can distribute it to others. So we are just like parrots, you know. We heard Srila Prabhupada speak, we heard our Gurudev speak, we read the books, and then we repeat it. We don't have the same mood that they do. Like they have the actual genuine compassion, right? They really feel for the suffering of the conditioned souls. But we don't. We're like, well, if I'm okay, I don't care if everyone else is suffering.
No, but they inspired us.
Yeah. So they inspire.
all of us.
Yeah. They
so
inspire.
how are you inspiring us?
No, I'm not inspiring anybody. I'm only trying to glorify Srila Prabhupada because that is my duty. You know, I don't want to sit here and speak. You know, I was actually hoping that I would be out there and they say, okay, program's finished, and then we are going to do the next thing. So I have to speak because, you know, I'm considered, you know, I am not in the most junior generation, and you are not also, right? So we have to speak. That is our responsibility. Yeah. So.
But Gurudev also inspired us
No, I mean
such a
that.
the same way.
Yeah. So I have not any power to inspire anybody, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't try, right? Because that is our responsibility, right? So Sri Bhaktivinoda Vaman Maharaj, he was writing to what did he? I think this is one letter. He said that it's more important to engage others in devotional service than to take care of your own devotional, right? There was some example of a devotee, he was busy doing something less important and he had some more important service to do. Another devotee offered to do that less important service. And he didn't want to do it. No, I don't want someone to serve me or anything like that. But then Sri Vaman Maharaj explained that no, you should allow giving them some service and you can do other service that you're more qualified. Like if a very qualified devotee who's very expert in the Shastra and everything, and he only says, I'm only going to clean the pots. Then who's going to inspire the devotees? Like if Mukunda Prabhu is only cleaning the pots, then how is he going to preach? So that is important that we try to engage others. And you will see, if you take some responsibility to try to inspire others, then you will have to also come up yourself. Because people will look at you like, who are you to tell me what to do? Like that, what are you doing? So until you try to engage others, then you can be very comfortable. Because as soon as you try to engage, oh Prabhu, would you like to do this? They were like, who are you? You know, why are you asking me to do it? Why don't you ask that devotee to do it? You know, you'll come across this kind of attitude.
Isn't that kind of an
Sounds like household life.
So you will come across the attitude. And I can tell you from experience, when you have to deal with so many different types of devotees, with all their different mentalities and their different samskars and everything, and they will, you will run across some very difficult situations, right?
You know, what's that saying? You can get
Lead a horse to water.
You can get a lot more, from
Attract more.
Oh,
you can attract more by giving them honey rather than giving them something like bitter.
You can attract flies with vinegar, actually.
That's right. You said it right.
Yeah.
So you have to first give them some honey and then.
Yeah. So that will, when I'm gone, which is very soon, then you can take up that responsibility. You will be unimpeded. So
I'm just trying to make one point.
you can make the point as much as you like. It's good. It's good. Very good. Yeah, you keep making this point, right? Every time you get the chance. This is important. That we should understand that. We can sit and speak. Like some of us have more power of the speech, right? Some people are not so good speakers and they don't want to speak. They are very shy. But some have the power of speech. Some are very good at cooking. I can't sew to save my life, but Sita Didi can sew, right? So she makes the Thakurji's outfits. I can't do it. So if I try to do it, I'll waste so much time. She can do in 5 minutes what it'll take me 5 years to do, right? So everyone has some talent. So we are obliged. That is also in the Bible. Jesus tells a story about the man gives each of his servants some money, and one of them uses it and produces a whole bunch more money, and one of them only buries it in the ground. Right? He keeps it in the ground, and then the master comes back, and the first one he says, "What did you do with your money?" "Oh, I did this, and I expanded your business," and so on and so forth. Very good. Then finally he comes to the last one. "What did you do with your coin that I gave you?" "Oh, I buried it in the ground." I give it back to you in perfect condition. I haven't messed with it. And he was not happy at all. Because you didn't invest it. You didn't take it and expand on it. You only just try to keep it safe, Like you have some money, you just lock it in a box, right? But the intelligent people, if they have money, they will invest it because it will make more money for them. So similarly, we have some ability. Everybody has some ability. You also, right? You have some ability. So we have to use it in Krishna's service. whatever it is, yeah.
I can
So-
give one very personal example.
Yeah.
Like my own mother, for example, in her rich and old age of 78 going on 79. Anyway, that's not important. But the point is that at some point I'm just sharing. I want to share this one point. I was even challenging her and so like thinking, oh, you're there, comfortable, in this shit like that, and you're not, you could be doing this and that and the other thing. But who am I to like? I'm thinking like I can tell her that like. I don't know, like internally, how she's doing her sadhana and how she's still preaching to people in her own way and doing. But I'm thinking like, oh, she's just sitting there and not doing anything. But my sister and others, they have so much more faith, and they told me that she's always doing things.
So internally, the sadhu may be sitting only chanting, but what's he doing internally, right? He's serving Radha and Krishna directly. So that is our aspiration also. So eventually we will sit and do bhajan.
But yet I'm thinking like, oh, I have to tell her, what she needs to be doing, or what, or I have to like tell this one and that one.
No, there should be some etiquette, right? Like Mukund Prabhu was explaining yesterday, there is a Vaishnava etiquette, like how we speak to juniors, how we speak to those who are on our equal, and how we speak to those who are senior. Right? So I'm not trying to instruct anybody here. I'm only speaking in general and speaking to myself actually. Because I'm also, I can go to China and nobody knows what I'm doing there. And I can do whatever I want. And then I come back and say, yeah, I'm so brave. I went to China. So is there anybody, it's easy. So
So we see in Prabhupada's example, especially in the beginning, even all throughout his presence, Prabhupada would take someone and say, I want you to open a temple. You go to Los Angeles and open a temple. You're the new temple president. You become the temple president and open a temple there. And they would go and do it because Prabhupada told them to. But it seems that when you become, let's say, more orthodoxy and established, there's not that direction. You become dependent upon the temple, and your resources go to support the temple. It's not that someone says, now take your resources, go over there, buy a house, begin a temple, start preaching.
That's what we did right here.
Yeah,
We did it.
this example. So that process requires encouragement and example, by example, setting the example, just like Srila Prabhupada was setting the example. Wherever he went, he would establish a temple under his direction. And so he was empowering people. You become the temple president, you go to this place, open the temple, right? So I think somehow in the transition after Prabhupada's departure, from that spirit of, what do we want to call it? That spirit of evangelism, or some word is there, I know. That spirit became more, we have to maintain the temples, not go out and start new temples. We need to maintain this temple, because this is a big temple, and we have a lot of expense, and we need all the money from all the devotees to maintain this temple. And I'm sure there's been some abuse of that system, where certain higher echelon persons have the ability to travel all over the world, and the residents or the people in that temple are stuck trying to support the temple. I remember Srila Gurudev asked Advaita, what's the name? Jayadvaita. So he asked Jayadvaita that Why are you not allowing me to speak in your ISKCON temples? Why are you not allowing me to speak? And Jadvita just smiled. Like a child, Jadvita just not saying a word. And then Gurudev said, I know, because you lose your chapati money and you won't be able to travel all over the world. So I was personally there in Jalakar's house when Srila Gurudev gave Jadvita the sauce. He gave him the sauce. I know why. Because you'll lose your chapati money. He said, this is simply chapati business. If you say something, they'll stop giving you the money so you can travel all over the world. So, not only internally in our own selves, but externally, there has been some forces that have challenged what you're recommending. And so, just like I can remember, the simple thing, we could do thousands. The mantra card. Please make your life sublime. Chant Hare Krishna. Address on the temple of the temple on the other side. Devotees used to go and pass them out everywhere. Just people on the street, in the stores, everywhere they go. And what does it cost to print 10,000 mantra cards? Literally nothing. You can print 10,000 cards for $10, maybe $20 at the most. So this spirit of spreading Krishna consciousness has become more of an orthodoxy, that you have to fit in to what exists. Don't try and go out and do what you think is proper or what you should do, but you have to fit into this situation. You have to submit to this authority, to what we're doing here. You have to ask permission before you can get some agreement to carry out what you want to do. So that spirit has been lost. And I don't think it's the result of individuals personally, but it's been killed. That spirit has been killed. Just like we saw Gurudev. Gurudev took his disciples all over the world with him. And he traveled all over the world, and devotees went everywhere, chanted Hare Krishna in every town and village, every place he went to do programs. But we don't see that from anyone else. We don't see that. So that's
still
my,
have that mentality.
that's
Over on that side, yeah.
that's my assessment. Hare Krishna.
Unity is the first. If we don't follow the four regulative principles, chanting the holy name, how are we going to feel inspired to give this message to others? First, we have, of course, so many years, but we have to be very strict in following the
order.
Guru's
All
instructions.
prasad is
In that way, we can fulfill his desires. There is a book called This is my request.
You know about the
And that's
recent
what
legend?
you have been talking about. This is my request. What is Srila Prabhupada's request? That we give this message. But to give that message, you have to be an acharya. You have to give a good example. How can you teach chanting
first.
that you don't
That's a
have?
good point.
That's very important.
Well, I just want to say something really quickly. She said prasad is disappearing, but when Gurudev's praying Vilas Prabhu of England, who spent years learning Hindi, and when his first translated book of different pravachans of Gurudev came out. So we were all excited at Keshavji Gaudiya Math. The books came in. We were, beautiful reading them. And then I asked Gurudev one day, should I go and distribute these books? He was like, after your 1 lakh is done, if you want to.
Okay, so thank you for your tolerating me becoming overexcited.
Yeah.
And if I spoke anything that pinched anyone's heart, especially to my seniors, please forgive me and please bless me that I can become pure. Otherwise, everything I do and say is useless. And God use
Over there. Shut up.
Oh, okay.
The bell. Thank you.
I will purify the bell.
Yeah, yes,
The bell is not purified.
I really like that.
Jaya
Hare
Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Bhakti Gyan Bharati Maharaj ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Ram Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Bhakti Vedanta Sri Vikram Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Acharya Keshari Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Bhakti Vasant Shri Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Bhakti Vahita Madhava Maharaj ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Bhakti Kumar Madhusud Maharaj ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Bhakti Swarup Sadanti Maharaj ki jai. Literally for Vishnu Vishnu Paraso Saraswati Shri Srimad Bhakti Jivan Jalad Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Chalo Prabhupada Suparikar ki jai. Chalo Jai Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Sto Saraswati Shri Srimad Vigadvaranyam Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Mahabhagavata Shula Gokishwaras Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Satya Goswami Rupa Nugasastra Sakshurananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Vaishnava Sabhabom Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Gauri Vedanta Acharya Baladevi Bhushanam Prabhu ki jai. Shri Rasika Siramani Shura Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Shri Naratam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Ragana Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Ragana Sat Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Rup Damodar Rai Ramanandi Gaura Parishar Vind ki jai. Shri Alati Yatura ki jai. Rachwa Ishwara Radha Govind ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Kolkata ki jai. Gautarachma Babutam Chaitanya Chaturvita ki jai. Shri Nrsimha Bhagavan ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Haridev ki jai. Shri Chakleshwar Mahadev ki jai. Ganesi Ganga ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Genda ki jai. Itai Gaur Premanandi Prabhupada ki jai.
जय श्री श्री सचिनंद गौर हरे राधा गोविंद भगवान की जय। श्रीमान नित्यानंद महाजान की जय। श्रीमान गौरंग संहार की जय। जय विष्णु भक्ति प्रदायिनी गौर भक्ति प्रदायिनी कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्री राधा भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्रीमती दुलासी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। Can somebody save me a plate?
Somebody save him a plate.
Joshua Prabhupada.
Okay. Now.
So good to see you. So good to see you.
That was really, it's okay. I know.
Exciting.
How's it back?
It's not that great. Unfortunately. But I'll get to work on that.
Huh?
So you're here for 2 weeks? Yeah. 3 weeks. Sort of.
Yeah.
How is New Bread? Everything good?
I said, what do I have to
Yeah,
do to become?
He told me he's going to Mayapur
I've been
for 6 months.
around, so every life I came, every life.
October.
October.
No, she's not leaving.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Hey.
The birthday's coming?
What?
The birthday.
Birthday. Your birthday.
What, October or September? October. You going to the airport?
Maybe.
Oh, wow.
Very good. Very good. I went last year.
OG, I have a plate for you on the bookshelf.
Yes, see on the other side.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.